So there has been a lot of talk lately about napkin whites or napkin backs or napkin poop, like as I like to call it, and what people do with it. So I have a gigantic bag of it, and I am going to show you here what I do with it. I stamp on it and turn it into new napkins. I've only done this with Christmas stuff, but you can do it for any time of year, I guess. So a lot of what I'm using here are foam stamps. As you can see, the one with the little bows, I made that out of foam stickers backed on a piece of cardboard. And then some of the ones I made, I just put a little, bottle cap or empty washi tape roll on the back as a handle, but some of them have fallen off. So you might have to reattach if that's the route that you go, if you want a little handle on your stamp. But making your own stamps is really easy and really fun. The reason why I sped this portion of this up so much is because I ended up having some help with my Christmas stamps. You'll see little hands throughout reaching in and grabbing things off my desk. So it was a team effort. The girls did some, stamped on some paper. See, my little cover just fell off. The girls did some stamping on paper, and I did this stamping on napkins. You can also use paint if it's a thin enough layer. If it's a thick layer, it tends to just turn into a ball of goop. But a thin layer of paint will work. I will use my jelly plate as a palette, or if you have some kind of plastic acetate packaging or something with a shine. Oh, little fingers, look at that. Something with a shine that you can just put a thin layer of paint on that will then have a little give to it so that you can get enough paint on the stamp. It will work. I need a better solution for my ink storage, so all tips are very much welcome for whatever you do. I was thinking about buying one of those shelf thingies, but I don't have the room for it at the moment. But I was thinking about buying one of those shelves with the little cubbies for the stamps. So I do make a lot of these napkin backs, which works out perfectly because then I have a lot to send out in Happy Mail. And have some to use because I used all the ones I made a few years ago. I don't remember if I made a video of that, but if I did, it's in my Christmas journal playlist. So just go back and look in that playlist. But it is a lot of fun. I have not tried using rubber stamps or my acrylic stamps. I don't know how well they would work or if the napkin would stick to the rubber. So if you do that, if you try that, let me know how it works out. And if you do go the method with using paint, which paint makes a terrific ink if you can get the layer thin enough. And these are very thin ply pieces of paper, so they do tear rather easily if you get a really globbed stamp with paint. So just something to keep in mind. And the paint is very, it has a very heavy bleed to it, so the image might not come out right. It might come out kind of globby, but you can do it. So you just got to be careful with it. But more than that, you just have to have fun with it. Do whatever you want. I'm just using the ink pads I have because honestly, I don't use them a ton. So it's really nice to just be able to get them out. These ones here, get them out and use all these different colors that I have, even though I realized I only have like maybe one nice Christmas green ink and also same for red. So, and I don't really have a light blue, so I'm gonna have to up my collection, but I'm not just gonna buy any old ink. It's got to be good. But at least now I have colors that I can look for when I'm out shopping or when there's a sale. That Studio G, that green is really good. It's really good for this stuff. Some of these are not a permanent ink, so if you do glue them and the ink that you're using is not permanent, use a glue stick, which I use a glue stick with these anyway because I don't want to wait for wet glue to dry. That star one is not a Christmas one, but it is one of my favorites. I have used that thing for years. I have had it, oh my God, I probably had it for 20 years. And I have used the crap out of it. And oh, look, more little hands just showed up. Do you see that? But yeah, I really enjoy the foam stamps for a lot of stuff like this. And a lot of times, if you go to like discount stores or deals kind of warehouses, you can get them there. You can get foam stamps there. So this is the journal, and we are going to use some of our napkin poop in there. And as you can see, I added some little spine jewelry to it. I'm going to fix it and add a little bit more. And I thought we would harvest the Amazon Christmas catalog. Since I didn't use it this year, I still would like to use some of the Christmas elements in it. And it was a lot of fun. And I wanted to keep, obviously some of the things like the hot toys, maybe some of the things I know my kids would want, those little game things they have in there, the little stickers. And I just want to make one point very clear. The girls had their chance with this catalog and they chose to put it behind the couch. So that's where I dug it out of and decided to use it. So they had their chance. All right, they had their chance. I love that little girl and the Little Tikes Rider toy. I love those little stuffed animal guys. I see them in ads and stuff like on Instagram, and they're just so cute. But yeah, I try and grab like, these puzzles. I'll probably have the girls do them. I haven't added them in yet, so, calm your britches. But those masks, I cut them out and even used my X-Acto knife on the eyeballs. And Vera wore hers every single place we went for like 3 or 4 days straight. So that was totally worth it. Amazon, way to go with that cool addition. Look at, see, those are the games like we had as kids, Monopoly and Clue. I love Clue. I can't wait till my kids are old enough to love Clue. And I love those Barbies. They're going to go in there. I don't understand why in the stores Barbies do not look like that. They are ugly. They all look exactly the same. But on these catalogs and in these pictures, they're all gorgeous. The quality of things has definitely gone downhill. Don't get me started. So I like that coloring page. I'll probably have one of the girls do that so I can put it in. And I don't remember what that was, but things I want. And I'll add it. I'll add, I don't know if all of this will make it in, but a lot of it. I'll cut out a lot of it to put in there. But I just wanted to get that harvested so that we could have some more fun stuff, as if I don't have enough to add in. I take one of my cards from Jean and I do just a little bit of writing. This is something I have not done in the past, but I write the date, and I just wrote down one of the toys I bought the girls that I'm the most excited about, and I cannot say it because one of my children is in the other room. But it is going to be a whole lot of fun, and I think they are going to love it, even though I had one in recent years and I sold it when Lily was a baby, and I don't now. I'm like regretting it because here I am buying all this stuff. But it is a GAME system that is from Nintendo that was recently. It's not the Switch, it's the one before it. So they don't make it anymore, which is fine because then I find all the games used for $5 instead of new for 40. So that's a good way to go. And just re-sticking all my stuff down because sometimes that pops back up. And I am looking for some pages to start throwing down some poop, Although this guy with this cactus had to have a home. So that worked out very nicely on that page there. You gotta give the cactus Christmas tree a home. I couldn't even imagine having a cactus and decorating it. At this point, my Aleene's glue is horrible. I ended up, I don't know if it was this video or another recent one, I ended up pausing the video and deconstructing my bottle and adding a little bit of water and new glue I added to it so that it would, thin it out because it got really thick. And I don't know if it was the bottle of glue that I used or what, but it got really thick. And this roll of Dollar Tree tape, I bought it because it looks like a candy cane. But let me just tell you, there is nothing at all to this ribbon that they have this year. I have been using some of the ribbon that I got last year compared to the ribbon that I got this year, and it is absolutely totally different quality, which is a shame because Dollar Tree has gotten more expensive, and a lot of the things that I'm finding there have gotten a lot worse in quality. So I take this little card and I journal about my little circle Christmas trees because I was really happy with how it came out, and I was really happy that it went as smoothly as it did on a project that I don't really remember the process to, since it was in a magazine from Christmas, I don't know, like 15 years ago, in a Stampington Christmas magazine that I bought used, and I don't know what I did with that magazine. I have it someplace, but I don't know where it is. So I kind of just winged the whole project to how it made sense to me, and it worked out really nice, and I really like it, and I'm going to make some more trees to give as gifts to some of my relatives, I think. Or just to make my own collection of trees, maybe with different colored circles, like a gold tree or a pink tree or a white tree or a green and white. I mean, let's face it, people, the possibilities are endless. So I glue a couple of my circles on there to show, I glue 3 so it looks like, little snowman, little green snowman. But yeah, just to show the pieces that I used on it, and they were a lot of fun to make. That tree was a lot of fun, and I have a ton of green paper, so I'm gonna have to do some greenage things. So it's like a drunk snowman, I guess. If you look at him, he's kind of drunk. And that card came from Scrapbook paper. It was a paper pad, and you know how sometimes they have their own little ephemera pages that you cut the ephemera out? That's where that came from. So I don't know what book it was out of. It might have been out of a book called Hot Cocoa, I think, if you're looking for the paper. I don't know if they still make it. I've had it for about 5 years, 6 years maybe, that pad. When I first started collecting Christmas stuff, I think, is when I got it. I do have a lot of tissue papers, and I just bought some more. Shh, don't tell anybody. So I'm liking the red envelopes. I'm using those. I'm using the red tabs. I'm cutting off the addresses because, I don't need to see that. I know who the person is. And most of the people who are sending me cards, I have their address, or I can access it fairly easily. So I have been gluing the insides of the envelopes closed because one thing you will notice about envelopes is that while they are very fun to make into little tuck spots, they are not very thick, and they can tear rather easily, and I don't want to ruin the card that I'm using that as a tuck spot for. So I just glue it shut most of the time and use it as a tuck, as a whole instead of a piece. So I liked the little sticker on the flappy, so I decided to keep that, and it came apart rather nicely. The envelope did, without tearing like I usually do, rip and tear it. So I just cut the flap apart. And I have this strip. You gotta use it all. You gotta use all them scrappies. I don't have a lot, though. I don't have a whole lot of real scrap pieces that size, smaller. I don't have a ton. So that was a Christmas card from my cousin. And a lot of times with her cards, I don't remember if I do it right here. I guess we're about to find out. Yep, I'm going to. I turn it into a tag. I like turning those picture cards into tags. They are, you know, a lot of fun to throw some string through, and I really enjoy the added embellishment when I'm going through the book later on. So I use a couple of different strands from my tassel kit and from my twine pieces, my red twine, since I have like way so much of it. And I just put them as the tag string. So I get to enjoy that now as a little tag for the rest of forever. And then I can just throw it right in the envelope. I think that envelope was from her, so it worked out pretty nicely. I try to match up the envelopes. I found these green rhinestone pieces that I got. So, you know, I just want to add it onto the envelope, like where I did have it torn a little bit, so you can't really tell that I cut the torn pieces off. So there, little embellishment. Now, I had gotten the Lowe's flyer because, first of all, I love the quality of paper. Even though I just threw a big chunk of it out because I was like in one of my I'm tired of looking at it moods. So I kept some chunks of it to add into my my journal to remember, you know, like what was on sale at Lowe's, since we're there pretty much all the time. We're always working on something. We are always at Lowe's. So that was a lot of fun, and it's going to be a lot of fun looking back someday and saying, oh, hey, look, this was the Black Friday sale in 2022. So I thought that I would, you know, keep that. And then those are the pieces that I wasn't keeping. So I don't remember. Did I keep the trees? I might have thrown that piece out. I don't know. I might have thrown some of the stuff I wanted to keep away. I don't remember. Maybe not those trees. If I glue them in right here. I don't remember. Do you remember? Do you remember if that's what I do? I guess we'll have to find out. We are going to have to find out. But I do enjoy looking back, especially these Friday flip-throughs that I've been doing. I've been really enjoying just looking back and seeing how I did things and remembering the mood I was in and remembering the things going on in my head when I did it. Like I remember when I made my very first Christmas journal, Vera was a baby, and she was going to bed, when she was a baby, she was going to bed really early, like 7, and she was sleeping in our bedroom, so she was out of this space where I create, and that glue was really thick there. I was getting so sick of it. Anyway, so I had time between like 7 and 8, the time that I send Lily to bed. I had time to do stuff, and Lily wasn't in school at the time, so even if she went to bed a little bit later, it wasn't the end of the world. So I had time, you know, I would have an hour and a half sometimes to really just sit down and work in the Christmas journal, and I would plan what I wanted to do, and it was really nice. And I like looking through that journal and remembering that time, and remembering feeling, you know, just all the feelings I had being Vera's first Christmas, and Lily being young and it being magical, and it was really nice to just remember the place I was in, which I'm sure anybody who art journals or junk journals or creates books of art for themselves, or even just pieces of art, I'm sure you can all relate to that mode you get into when you're just nostalgic. You just reminisce about where you were. And I think as artists, that's where we differ, because while we love the photographs and we love the videos and we love the memories that way, we also have the memories within what we create. And not a lot of people can say that, you know, if they don't create, they don't do art. I guess a builder could say that if he visits the places or the things that he's built, he can remember those things. So I guess it's different for everybody. But I like to use my art as a reminder and as a memory source for myself. And I don't know what my kids are going to do with all this crap someday, but I hope maybe they'll keep some of it and remember from when they were kids what I was doing. And it's cute because I have them trained so well to do things, you know. Do you want to put this in your Christmas journal? Do you need this for any of your stuff? I have them trained so well. I ended up writing down about how that was the random card. So I did a little bit of stuff off camera, like my little spine art there and that piece. I wrote that on a piece of scrap about the random story and the random Christmas card that I got. But I didn't do like a ton of major stuff. I was just putting things in that needed to be put in. I think in the beginning of this, I will write down that I created it in 2022, but it is from 2020 to 2022. And who knows, I might end up almost filling it. I might. It's, it's going pretty, it's filling up pretty quick, you know. Now I have no clue if I'm going to use any of this napkin poop, as you can see. I thought I was. Maybe I'm not. If I don't, you will see it in videos coming up. I will use it. That's one of the things I enjoy using the most. I love Christmas napkins, and I love using the whites for backgrounds. See, this is where I start deconstructing the glue. I get so sick of it. That was the beginning. I poke in it to see if there's something obstructing. And then finally I realize I don't think it's the nozzle. I think it's the glue. So somehow it hardened. And I think what happens is the lid gums up with glue, and then it doesn't seal it very well. And I think it must dry the inside of the bottle out, and that must have been what I did. I must not have, I must not have had it sealed very good. I've never had this happen before, but I've never had a bottle last me this long either. So that is a homemade card from a friend of mine named Joy. She's very talented. I've talked about her before in her cards. She also, I don't know if she's still crocheting, but she was crocheting. I have a turtle that she crocheted, and she has crocheted some little ditties for the kids. It was Halloween time. I think a candy corn and a pumpkin and a spider. And we still have all of them. And they girls, they love them. And when we first got them, Lily played with them for months and months and months, and we still have them. And they still play with them when they find them. Because, kids, they lose toys and find toys and lose them and find them over and over. I'm having a lot of fun with this year. It's really been therapeutic, and it's been fun to kind of travel back. Maybe I'll skip years more often and do them all at once. No, I'm just kidding. I want to do them. I want to do one every year if I can. No pressure. No pressure on myself. No pressure on anyone. Just do what you enjoy. I feel like Janet Nash, she always says no pressure. And that's what art is. It's, don't pressure yourself. Don't force yourself into creating a certain way or being a certain way or following a certain style. And sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's hard not to follow the rules, and you feel like you have to follow them. And you feel like there's a set of standards that you have to go by, but you really don't. There's really nothing. There's really nothing you have to follow. All right, it's yours. Unless you're creating art for a person and they have specific, guidelines to what you're going to make, you can really do whatever you want. Don't let anybody tell you you're doing it wrong. Like my Christmas trees, I could have done them a certain way. They might have been done a certain way, in that magazine, but I don't care. I didn't do them a certain way. I did them my way. What made sense in my brain. And I guess that it worked. I'm just admiring my Trish card. You know, I love to just go through over and over and over again and open the same cards and admire the same things. And that's what I love about doing this. Like, there I am. Once again, you've seen me open that card already once. And this video, as it's winding down, oh, yes, I put a Santa. I'm like, this page needs a little something. So, Santa head. I love these Santa heads that I got from Hobby Lobby. I really lucked out when I made it there during a sale. You know, their Christmas stuff, which, how much markup is on that stuff? If they can sell their Christmas stuff at Christmas time for 60% off, you know, what kind of markup is on that crap for real? Like, it doesn't, you don't want to pay full price for anything. So here I am, just flipping through, and I'm sorry I didn't use any of the napkin poop. I'm such a failure. But I'm really glad you hung out, and we'll use some of that napkin poop pretty soon. So thank you all. Ta-ta for now.